Whether you dream of a house with a white picket fence, big backyard, or even a pool, owning a home is still part of the American dream.
But high mortgage rates, skyrocketing prices, and housing shortages have made it a nightmare for many. The data tells the story. A 2024 survey found more than half of aspiring homeowners say their income isn't high enough to afford a down payment and closing costs. And that has some trying a non-traditional approach.
Reporter Heather Graff examines the growing trend of co-buying, in which people are teaming up with a friend to close the deal.
We've all heard the saying, friends are the family you choose.
We went to Columbia in New York.
And that's certainly true for Samantha Simpson and Angel Wachuku,
That was 2016.
who went from classmates to best friends, and in the years that followed, they became travel buddies, roommates, and even business partners with a shared YouTube page.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Hey y'all.
So when the pair began considering home ownership in their late 20s, they decided it just made sense to buy a house together as well.
Literally, there just wasn't anyone else I thought of that I could trust besides probably my parents.
And yeah, I think we're just like good friends and we trusted each other.
Samantha and Angel, seen here, getting the keys to a 4-bedroom row house they now co-own in Washington, D.C.
Split everything down the middle.
Split everything down the middle.
That's right.
Could either of you have afforded this home on your own?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. Once you buy a home, that's one expense, and then there are other expenses that come up with like a house and things that you don't expect, and having someone to split that cost with has been amazing.
And that decision to co-own is not as rare as you might think. According to Bankrate, 1 in 10 millennial homeowners has purchased a home with a friend. Zillow is also tracking this, and in 2023 found 14% of home buyers did so with a friend, many of those citing affordability as their reason for co-buying.
Certainly, if you have two incomes, then you can save for a down payment easier.
Jessica Lautz is the National Association of Realtors Deputy Chief Economist and Vice President of Research, and she expects co-buying among friends and with people other than a spouse to become even more common moving forward.
When you consider that there are 3 offers right now for every home that's listed, you want to have a competitive offer out there. So perhaps as a dual income, that's putting down the bigger down payment than you would have been able to as a single buyer.
I imagine it also comes with some potential risks though. What's the downside?
I would definitely say that any realtor that I've talked to about this may be getting an attorney involved so that you can make sure that if you're putting in 50-50 on that home, if you walked away from that relationship, who owns what?
For instance, what happens if one of the co-buyers gets married or has to move or even passes away? Exactly how will costs be split? Even who gets the bigger bedroom? Experts recommend co-buyers set ground rules up front and put everything in writing to prevent conflict later on.
We wanted to have equal everything. So there had to be 2 rooms that were the same size, 2 bathrooms, all those kind of things.
What makes Angel and Samantha's situation perhaps a bit unique is that they're both lawyers. So when it came to discussing legal implications of their joint purchase, they were fully prepared.
I think it made it a lot easier because there were just some things that we just understood.
But for other hopeful homeowners who perhaps don't have that expertise, this trend has also led to the creation of companies like NestMit, CoBuy, and Paradigm that aim to guide people through the co-buying process.
You know, when people think about co-ownership, it's a great idea, but it sounds scary and complicated.
Joe Hoppus is the CEO and co-founder of Paradigm based in Washington State, but says they've worked with co-buyers across the country, answering questions and helping clients draft written agreements or property prenups that they can then take to an attorney for final review.
It's maintenance, repairs, insurance claims, you name it, we've covered it.
Do you think that co-ownership is the future?
I do. You can't fight pricing. It's too big, it's too complex. You can't fight interest rates. So to unite resources, it's the only way for most people to get in the market and get that, start building that equity and generational wealth.
As for these co-buyers,
We bought a house.
Angel and Samantha moved into their DC home in 2021.
We wanted to show you guys the fire pit that we got.
Renovated it, and lived there together for a little over a year.
This is actually a new front door.
But when a new job opportunity moved Samantha out of state, per their agreement, Angel moved out of the house too, and they now use it as a rental and investment property.
It was like, okay, it's time, and we had prepared for it. We both are very, I guess, like kind of business minded. Yeah. And so it was like, oh, this is an opportunity to make it a vacation rental. And so it was a positive experience.
Still best friends who plan to hold on to that house as co-owners for as long as they both feel it makes sense.
I think you have to be on the same page with at least 75% of things.
Yeah.
At least 75% of things.
Would you do it again?
I
yeah,
would.
for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It was a great decision.
What a great idea. It's almost like continuing college. I had a great college roommate, and I would love to buy a home with her if that opportunity were to arise.
You want me to say it?
Sure.
I'm gonna say it. My wife would probably like to live with some of her friends more than me some days.
You know, it's all about being comfortable with the idea, and it works for some people.
It definitely works for some people. Hopefully
Yeah.
it doesn't work for Jenny and me. Hopefully she's
Yeah.
good with the way she has
We're
it.
both
Yes.
going to stay married.
Yeah, exactly.
Live that
Yes,
way.
yes.
Well, the National Association of Realtors says friends buying homes together is not the only co-ownership trend that's on the rise. Its 2024 Home Buyers and Sellers Report found an increase in what's known as multi-generational purchases. It's when families buy a home together and split the mortgage, such as a younger relative partnering with an aging parent or grandparent.
The NAR says the reason for this type of co-buying is often about not just cost savings, but also creating a space for people to care for elderly loved ones.